In this video, I'll show you how to solve the ALEKS problem called Understanding Radioactive Half-Life. This problem is giving us 4 different samples, A, B, C, D, and it's asking us 2 questions about the samples. We're just going to focus on this one first. This is asking us to rank these substances in order of initial radioactivity. So when you click on these, it's going to drop down a menu. Your menu is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to say that 1 is the highest and 4 is the lowest. And what it's doing is asking you to rank them in terms of like how radioactive they are initially in the beginning, how much radioactive particles are being emitted as this substance is decaying. The substance that has the shortest half-life is the one that is the most radioactive. So shortest, and you got to be a little bit careful with this problem. ALEKS is being tricky. There are a lot of different units on here. I have minutes, I have days, and I have hours. So don't just look for the smallest number. Make sure you're also paying attention to the unit. 45 minutes for a half-life, that means that every 45 minutes, this substance has undergone decay of 1/2 of its substance. So that means that it's undergoing a pretty rapid radioactive decay, and that means that it has the highest initial radioactivity. And then the substance that has the longest half-life, that's the one that has the lowest initial radioactivity. Longest half-life, that's going to be our 120 days. That's the longest half-life. And then these you're just going to rank in the same way. So 26 hours would be our number 2, and 57 hours would be our number 3. And then over here, this is asking us to figure out how much time it's going to take for this sample to decrease to 1/8 of the initial amount. Remember, after 1 half-life, we've gone down to 1/2 of the initial amount. After a second half-life, that cuts in half again, so that takes us down to 1/4. And after a third half-life, that takes us down to 1/8. So this is half-life number 1, this is half-life number 2, this is half-life number 3. It takes 3 half-lives to go down to 1/8 of the original sample. And I've only seen one of these problems, so I don't know if this 1/8 changes every time like maybe it changes to 1/2 or 1/4, or maybe it would change to 1/16, but you guys get the idea here. So for this, once you figure out how many half-lives it takes to get down to this amount, you're just going to take that number and multiply it by the actual half-life. 45 times 3, that's 135. ALEKS isn't saying anything about sig figs, but I feel like we should probably match the sig figs that we have over here. 120 days, 3 half-lives, that's going to be 360 days. 26 hours, 26 times 3 is 78 hours, and 57 hours, 57 times 3 is 171.